Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel. Hello. So I was concerned this week. I don't know why, what's going on, but they're allowing Lulu out into the wild. Did you notice that she was talking to more characters? I was like, why?
I struggle with her circle expanding and her feeling very responsible for telling people how to feel and act. I'm struggling really hard with finding the words to tone down the rage.
Her whole having Jason come over, I'm like, wow, he's a saint. But this was one of those things where I felt like this could have been an email, which was don't talk to Rocco. But she really kept trying to have a conversation with Jason. And ultimately, this is what I got from it. It's kind of the same stuff about Brooklyn. Like, Jason, I want you here, not just to tell you, like, hey, maybe stay out of this because I'm very upset, but I want to control the narrative when it comes to Britt. And I want Rocco and everyone to see Britt the way I do. And I heard that you see Britt differently, so I want to talk to you so you can stop seeing Britt the way you see her and only see her the way I see her.
Oh my gosh, yes, exactly all of that. And Jason just looked at her very patiently, but also like she was a tiny child. That he had
like Laura,
to
and he's not the one, you know, he's not going to sit there and kind of say what she needs. Like, he can definitely validate, like, your, like, I think her head exploded, but just validating, like, your experience with Britt is 100% real. Even Obrecht will attest to that, you know? Yeah. And that's what I absolutely love about her is just, yeah, like, she can own it. And that's always the thing missing from a really good villain. A really good villain, even the mild, moderate villains, you're fun if you can own who you are. And so when Jason said to her, but like, my version of Britt is just as real.
Yes.
I was just like, I think her head's gonna explode. It was like the first time she's like, wait a second, are you saying that life happens outside of my mind and outside of me? Like, are you actually saying this? It was a lot. It was a lot.
Well, I love that she's trying to piece together that people are multifaceted. Like, Lulu's been Lulu since she's like 15.
Yeah.
And she has stayed that one note, layer one vanilla personality. And anybody who has evolved, grown, has done some good and bad, and changed as a person, she cannot wrap her mind around it.
Well, she's part of that self-righteous category, right? Mm-hmm. And for a long time, Elizabeth was in that category. And it's funny because there's a clip on YouTube where Lulu goes to confront Elizabeth at the hospital about cheating on Lucky with Nicholas and calls her all these things. And I'm just laughing. But it's just, for such a long time, Elizabeth was that character. But then when she had that, like, Elizabeth-centric story where they went back into her past, it really made a lot of sense of who she's been all this time. But remember that scene where we felt like she was passing the baton and she, like, hugged Willow?
Yes.
Right? Because, you know, Elizabeth for a very long time saw herself, just like Willow. I mean, her situation is very different, but Willow sees herself as the good one. Just like a lot of people for a long time saw Willow as, like, the saintly one. And so Elizabeth grew up, and I feel like after they did that storyline, she's in a place where she's embracing different things. Like, even when it comes to Rick, she's more into the shades of gray, and she really came into her own. Like, we all know that when it comes to, like, the Jason, the Sunny of it all, like, there's a limited amount of characters. Her name is Carly that could tolerate their world. Ava also. But there's certain people who are sort of in the life, and anybody who wasn't couldn't really hang long term because you are actually making massive sacrifices for your safety and all kinds of things. And there were so many people who just wanted to be the center of that world, and it never worked. And I found that I always liked Elizabeth best when she was in her own world and not trying to force a place somewhere where, like, she didn't want. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of characters loved Jason and wanted to be with Jason, but they couldn't really handle his life. Like, they weren't willing for the full package.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? It wasn't the life Elizabeth wanted. And rather than kind of like walk away, there were so many characters who tried to kind of change them.
Yes.
Rather than be like, this isn't for me, see ya. And then there was all this resentment on whoever could stay in the life. So I feel like when we talk about Lulu and we talk about she hasn't grown, it's kind of like, well, she's playing into that, I'm not going to call it a villain, but kind of like the mildest kind of villain, but that self-righteous person. Like, that's pretty much her character. And it's staying in that bubble. And so while I find there's zero satisfaction, let's say on the Lulu Brooklyn front, I'm seeing, I don't know, I'm taking it where I can get it. And where I'm getting it right now is watching how hard and how important it is for Lulu to get people to see things only from her perspective. And it's interesting because we moved on from Brooklyn to talk about Britt. And like you pointed out, some characters grow and you've done a lot of things, the good, the bad, the ugly. But what makes some characters more redeemable, regardless of whether or not they remain a pariah to others in Port Charles, are the people who can actually recognize what they did. You know what I mean? And own that and try to do better and actually did do better. Like I like the way that Jason put it. She became a person who did more good things than bad things.
Yeah.
Whereas before she was doing a lot of bad things. So I feel like that's a pretty good measuring stick for someone, you know? People make mistakes, but if you're in a place where you're making like better choices over bad choices, then yeah, that's something to be proud of. And you can call that growth, and it makes people complicated. But watching Lulu, I mean, hell, it sounds like she needs to be the head of a Donna Day, you know? Like she's really...
Why, right?
Yeah, like she's really hell-bent on shaping Rocco's viewpoint, and it is shocking, right? To watch someone as narrow-minded as Lulu have her son kind of really explore different sides of something. And that in itself, for me, is kind of like a win. I mean, I know she's going to turn around and blame it on Brooklyn, as we saw her do this week. But I just think that's going to be really fascinating because we're going to have some pretty intense characters coming Lulu's way.
Yes, and like, yeah, the fact that Rocco has far surpassed his mother in growth, bringing these new characters in, this different point of view and perspective, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to deal with each other as mother and son. And then throw Dante in the mix, where I feel like he's slowly getting out of his Lulu fog and finding his space again and where he stands and what he wants to do.
Well, I mean, he can't admit that happened after a hug with Brooklyn. He can't say that. But what's interesting to me, like with Obrecht jumping in on this, with Britt jumping in on this, you know, Rocco is attempting to remain obviously respectful to his parents. Like, he's not extreme. Like, he straight up told Obrecht, you know, I think my parents have the right to be mad.
Yeah.
Right? So I kind of like that. Like, this is his first venturing out, you know, on his own with his like own storyline, which I think has got to be really, really exciting. And so it's interesting watching him navigate, right? He's reserving space for his parents, but he knows that he can't have such an expansive perspective and he doesn't have that space to process within those limits because of their feelings. So he's kind of going out and doing his own thing. And he, like we said before, it's kind of like he's looking to see that Britt was this awesome person. And I mean, of course, if she carried him, he wants to believe that. But he seems really taken with Obrecht, taken with Britt in their conversation. And this is something that I find really interesting because right now we only have Obrecht, and whether or not she knows about Britt, she is definitely playing a person who lost their daughter and doesn't know they're alive.
Yes, she's giving that for sure.
Okay. But when I think about Britt, okay, so right now we have Rocco showing interest in Britt, but like the end of today's episode. I mean, we knew it was coming. We saw commercials. It was announced. We even knew the dates. And this is one of those moments where I kind of wished it was kept a secret. Could you imagine watching today's episode and knowing nothing about the fact that the actress was returning and then seeing that scene? Because they, like, Obrecht's back this week. Yeah. You know, they're talking about Britt because of Rocco. Just her mention is going to have people wondering if she's coming back. Could you have imagined that scene if we really didn't know?
I would have gasped. I mean, I still got goosebumps when I saw her face. I'm not gonna lie, but not knowing, I would have like jumped out of my seat.
Yeah, I kind of miss those like elements of surprise. So I kind of wish I didn't know, because that would have been such a significant moment, because I was basically waiting all week for that moment, and it's pretty much all it was, a moment.
Yes.
But think about the context, right? Let's just say we fast forward and it turns out this is Britt. Okay. Britt is Maxie's fam, right? It's Nathan's sister. So when we were watching the whole Brooklyn Lulu thing play out, it's like Brooklyn is a friend. She grew into being one of her best friends. She did this amazing thing when it comes to helping Maxie with her baby. But like, Britt is straight up family. So I would have loved to have seen how the Maxie character would navigate Britt, her family, and Lulu.
Yes, because Maxie is still towing this line.
Yes.
Of seeing them as equals. And we talked about this either last week or the week before. And it's incredibly frustrating. And a Britt and Obrecht, they just lay down the truth. They lay down the law. They let you know what they're thinking wholeheartedly. And that cannot be ignored.
Because people are sensitive around the Brooklyn Dante seduction gone wrong. Okay? and you see it on the tip of everyone's tongue, which is like, okay, get over it. Like you see people wanting to scream, just get over it. And so no one's doing that because that in itself is extreme for Lulu. But given who Obrecht is and Britt is and Maxie is, you know, Maxie is the first to say everyone makes mistakes and ready to kind of help you move through this mistake. But Lulu won't move through or admit anything to be a mistake. So you can't really walk the path with a person like this.
Exactly.
So could you imagine, you know, like you pointed out, Britt, Obrecht, they're pretty honest. They say it for what it is. They can own it. But what we cannot do, okay, and this is the one thing Lulu wants, we cannot go back in time. We can't go back in time and make it so that, you know, Brooklyn never unsuccessfully seduce Dante, the man she went on to have 2 children with and marry.
Yes,
okay?
Yes, of course.
And we cannot go back in time to kind of stop Britt from having done what she did and having Ben. Okay. So could you imagine a point where things come to head and people are just kind of like, you got to get over it. You got to let it go. Like it happened. I'm sorry. I'm not the same person. I wish I could. But you know what? You are going to have to find some way to live with the fact that that happened.
I could actually picture Britt saying this.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, we know that Rocco's going to want a relationship with her
Yes.
no matter what. Like, that is very obvious.
Yeah, he's taken with her. And he hasn't met her. I mean, she's dead, but still, he feels bonded to her. The way he was looking at Sasha and her baby, being like, was that what it was like? Like, she loved me. And he just seems so, I don't know, like, really open.
Not for nothing, but if your mom was Lulu, wouldn't you want to look for it?
I was trying to say it gently. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, look at Rocco. It's not like he wasn't told the story. Mind you, he didn't see the video of Obrecht holding the dagger.
No, he did not see that videographic memory that you dug up.
No, he didn't. But the point is, it's like, he knows what Britt did. He knows Obrecht. You can Google the woman, but he wants to keep getting to know her. Yeah. So if Britt comes back, without a doubt, Rocco can make space for her, right? Because Britt didn't hurt him, and that's the part that Lulu can't deal with. That, like, someone who is a certain way with you could be a different way with someone else. Like who Britt was with Jason. It's not like she chose to treat you like crap and turn around and was nice to Jason. She was just at a different place.
Yes,
but when it comes to Rocco, Britt was everything.
Yes.
And so that's going to be pretty damn tough because I think Rocco will do whatever to have some connection with Britt. And I mean, look, there are hints, there are clues that it's pretty clear that if this is Britt, Jason definitely feels like he has some stuff to make up for. So imagine this now. I think whatever we thought, I mean, again, I hoped, could this be their moment, you know? But it really looks like it's going to be maybe like a Jason Britt romance. I mean, even the talks with Sasha, it was basically like laying it out. Jason, you should be with someone. She's like, even through a mob war. Yeah, that is the perfect time to be
start
with
a relationship.
Yeah, for sure. And the funny thing is that if you're talking about starting a relationship during a mob war, I mean, yeah, like outside of Carly, if you will, like a vet in that life, Britt. You know what I mean? As an outsider, of course Britt could handle something like that.
Totally.
I mean, she did before. And so it was interesting that Sasha said that. If you can find anyone with the grit and determination to get past Carly. So, now, Britt comes home. Jason lives at the Quartermain house. Danny lives at the Quartermain house.
Yes,
Rocco sometimes lives at the Quartermain house.
Family.
Yes.
Dante's at the Quartermain.
Exactly. And the thing is, you have to remember, though, like, Dante was around when Britt was around and Lulu wasn't. Remember how I posted that picture? because she got close to Cody. So like it or not, Cody had to find out about Britt and Dante's history because they were going to be in the same circles. So there was hanging out between Britt, Sam, Dante, and Cody. So he did have an amicable relationship with her. So if Lulu had a problem with Dante's literal lifelong childhood friend Brooklyn, what is she going to do when, you know, she learns the little details that, like, Cody had a relationship with her and liked her. And because of that, I mean, Dante had a pretty amicable, you know, exchanges with her. Like, they were, you know,
friendly.
Yeah, because today is a perfect example of that, where Dante is making it work. He understands that life is complicated, and like you pointed out, he like toned it down a couple notches. But Dante is basically displaying that, like, yeah, I can move past things. Like, I could consider multiple facts.
Yes.
So what did you think about her conversation with Dante?
Another really painful, even the word is terrible, a cringy scene where he's trying to be, like you said, showing the shades of gray, understanding that it's not just one thing, that there are multiple things involved. He's not going to get into too much detail. She listens, but then she in turn literally tells him how he should feel, that he needs to move towards what she thinks. And that is just, even the way he was looking at her, it's like the light bulb went on of like, wow, she is genuinely stuck and she is never going to move past this. And what do I do with this?
Well, absolutely. But he's also kind of remembering, didn't I tell this woman that we wouldn't talk again? Didn't I say,
so
stay out of my life, and here I am at a coffee shop?
And he still doesn't know the garbage she spewed to Gio when they were at the boathouse.
No, but something I learned about GH today is that things that were said a really long time ago that we believed were dropped can circle back, i.e. the conversation between Carly and Anna. Who knew? So okay, let's talk about that. Okay, Gio and the whole thing. So you say like how he doesn't know what she said to Gio. This is what I'm thinking. I'm taking in my little satisfactions, you know, the concept of Rocco going out on his own. Even this conversation with Dante, while it was frustrating and he got up to leave and chose to sit back down in the next scene, I'm like, ugh. I just feel like he's exasperated. Like, he doesn't try to say too much, but there's you know, like when people just can't accept reality, like he can't accept that this is the reality with Lulu. And so he can't do what Jason does, which is like, honestly, say less, because saying less lets her sit with her stuff.
Yes.
And it's less of a load on you. It's definitely less heavy when you do that. But he's doing that thing where he doesn't like what's happening, but he's still like, okay, but maybe if I show her this one example of Brooklyn, she'll change and she'll tone it down and things will be easier. And he keeps trying, but he doesn't realize that to someone like Lulu, you're making her more mad and you're giving her more reason to fight harder, because the kinder or the more compassionate he sees her, the more determined she is to screw Brooklyn.
He just wants everybody to be a family. Like, he sees his mom with Ned and Sonny with all his kids, and he's just dealing with like this Bobo at the cafe.
He made it work with Valentine.
Exactly.
He co-parented with Valentine.
Yes.
So of course he's like maybe hoping that, you know, he can do it here as well, that things can remain amicable. So, I mean, look, that saga continues, but let's take it to the extreme. Okay. So she's going to be busy. Like, as much as there's this Brooklyn stuff, and she reminded us this week, like, Brooklyn's bad and you shouldn't forgive her. And you know what you should do? You should throw her under the bus to Gio. That floored me. That floored me so much, because I'm like, how would it ever be good advice to go to a child and be like, let me stoke the hate and anger you have just so I can bond with you? But if you think about Lulu, she needs people, to hate who she hates. It doesn't mean it happens successfully, but that's what she needs. I don't know. Sometimes you get so jaded, you're like between like Brooklyn and Lulu and Dante, and you're just like, oh, this again. But it actually, I did kind of feel something when Dante said to her, you know, Brooklyn actually told me to do that. Yeah. Well, I don't want to, just so you know. And she's like, I don't believe you. And I'm like, no one cares anymore, because he's having a grown-up conversation, saying serious things, and she is hell-bent on staying where she is, and he really should just leave her there. But think of it this way. I think that with the Rocco stuff, the Obrecht, the Brit, she'll obviously still be angry with Brooklyn. Again, she reminded us about how she feels, but she won't have the time. She'll be caught up in her own storm. I don't know that Maxie will be there for it. She did move. She is still a part of GH.
She did, but
Yeah.
I do think they're gonna maybe do a have somebody play her role in the meantime. I did read a little bit of, so I don't know, but I would hope that there would be somebody in her place to carry out a little bit of a storyline in the meantime.
Well, from what she said on her own page, it sounded like when there was a replacement, that was needed, but she said she recorded everything. So we don't have to worry about this storyline, that she kind of recorded everything for the year. And she said that we're going to love, and the storyline is going to be interesting. And I do think that Maxie is going to be a fun, significant factor in these storylines. And I do hope to see her on screen, I hope. That's kind of how I understood it, that you pre-recorded stuff. So we might see her. But like I'm saying, Lulu's going to move away from Brooklyn. And we have felt, let's say, little satisfaction on the like Lulu versus Brooklyn situation. Yes. But where there could be some satisfaction, there is one thing that could happen that would result in everyone seeing Lulu as badly as she would, let's say, want them to hate Brooklyn.
Tell me.
Is if she had an affair with Gio.
Oh my God, stop. Because I had to shove those thoughts out of my brain when
I'm
she was
not
like
gonna
flirty at the pool. And I was like, this woman is going to try to do this. She's genuinely sparking with him.
I mean, look, I posted about it, the whole interaction by the pool. They keep kind of talking about like Gio is older, meaning older than Danny and Rocco. And they're showing us this, like, he's older.
He's a man, guys.
He's a man. And Trace even made the point of telling us that he's 20-something, specifically the same age as Morgan when he died. And when Morgan died, he was an adult, right? He had the whole affair with Ava. He's an adult. So they're trying to let us know that, like,
there's also been a lot of talk of, like, older partners, like this whole Vaughn, Emma thing, age difference. There's been a lot of mention of that as of late.
Yes, and they've mentioned, you know, Vaughn is too old for Emma, but not for Joss, and Joss is an adult. But Emma's in a category of her own, apparently.
Yes. Yeah.
And we talked about this. Brooklyn treats Rocco like a kid. All the kids like kids. But Lulu kind of does this thing where, like, Gio is this, like, exception. He may be Dante's son, but somehow her equal. And he stepped in to save her. She tried to be a damsel in distress for a second at the pool.
It's not that she sees him as older. Lulu is a forever teenager. She is stuck. So look at it. And the only people who agreed with what she did when it came to Gio's parents coming out was Rocco. He's like, I kind of see your point. And Gio was like, thank you. The only people who agreed with her that were people under 23. So this is who she identifies with. This is who can validate her, boost her ego, all that baloney.
But you are right, because it is peer-to-peer, right? They have the same kind of, like, anger. Inflexible thinking. Maturity, right? So I could kind of see that happening, you know, like hanging out, something happens, like that would be the line to finally be crossed, where like Brooklyn would find out, Dante would find out, and where it would really be explosive. Like, you're really extreme and you need to let it go. Like, you really need to let it go.
No, it's going to happen in the worst way too, where Gio starts feeling comfortable going to her house to hang out with Rocco, and like Rocco has to go to bed because he's like much younger, and she like brings out cookies and milk.
What is going on? What is going on? I just want a scenario where they get walked in on. Like, I remember when Brenda staged it with Michael and had Carly come in, which was like epic.
Okay.
Epic, but this one will be real, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait, but I kind of see that in their future. But man, how much have you missed Obrecht? How much?
I'm so happy. Like, how is it that I'm so excited to see this character on TV? Her excitement was making me excited about just like talking to Rocco, and that like love and joy emanating off of her was unbelievable. She is an incredible actress. I'm going to say it early, but one of my favorite lines, I haven't had a favorite line in a while. And it was her saying, they were talking, and at the end of the conversation, she says, for someone with brain damage, that Jason can be very wise. And
oh my gosh.
You're freaking hilarious, lady.
I love their bond, and you could tell that like a hug was needed after.
Yes,
but
I
feel
wanted one.
Yes, but I totally think we're working up to that like hug, like Rocco grandma vibe.
Yeah.
No, I think their whole conversation was exciting, and I think that, like, how can you not take the word of Obrecht, right? She's able to speak about her daughter in a really complex way, acknowledge the good, the bad, the ugly. And so I think when it comes to it, it's going to be so much easier. And I know it sounds really crazy because anybody who's known Obrecht's stint on the show, right? Like Rocco is this little kid. He was a storyline. Like his birth was a storyline on the show.
Right.
But everybody knows everything from beginning to end. So I just think it's going to be funny because the way that things are going, it's going to be so much easier for Rocco to lean on Obrecht and trust the words that she's saying rather than trust Lulu when it's so clear that she's trying to narrow his perspective. And that even came up in their conversation.
Right. The fact that Obrecht validated his feelings
Yeah.
from all sides, yes, there's truth to all of that, but that's what makes Britt Britt.
But what was even better was realizing the moment she went to see Nina, I was like, right! I was so caught up in the Rocco, Ben, Britt, Obrecht thing that I completely forgot about any other connection she has in Port Charles. And the moment she walked in to Nina, I was like, she'll fix it.
Exactly.
She'll handle all the things. She'll do it. Oh, if she can deprogram, if anyone can deprogram anyone, it's her. What did you think of those amazing, amazing scenes?
Again, Obrecht, like just reading Nina from head to flipping toe, knowing exactly what was going on, where her head was at. And then when Willow walked in, I was like, yes, girl, yes, this is the time. Lay it on her. I just love the way she was very pointed with her comments, maintaining eye contact, watching her every move and action. Nina, so every time I think she catches on, but she really doesn't, obviously. She was just happy that she got a hug. But when they broke down the events of Sasha, just the fact that she's gone, and I mean, we all saw the smile, and I kind of liked the evil Willow
10-second
smile.
long,
Exactly. But the minute she left and Obrecht just getting right into it, I'm like, I felt like I could breathe a sigh of relief because everything has been building up week after week after week of Drew and Willow being almost untouchable with their chaos and the harm they're creating for everybody around them, but being the victims in their lives. So I'm like you, I was like, oh my God, Obrecht's here and she's going to fix all this because I can't handle it anymore.
No, but just like you said, a sigh of relief. Like, isn't it crazy? Like, that's how awesome her character is. Not only was it, but that's the thing, that not only is she a breath of fresh air, I actually did breathe a sigh of relief because I'm like, I don't care how crazy it gets. She's going to out crazy all of you. And and I just loved it. She's like, that's not the same person. And she challenged her on the whole Michael thing. It's like, you cannot try to BS Obrecht. You know what I mean? Because Willow went right into it. Okay, so I'm the victim. Everyone's going to understand that I can do no wrong. So this is what happened. All I did was fall in love. And I love it because Obrecht doesn't even know the details. She didn't even throw Drew into it, right? Like with Nina, there's a heavy thing on like Drew influencing her, which is obviously true. But I also don't think that we can forget the Willow part. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so I liked that Obrecht really stuck to the like minimal facts that she knew, but still tried to force Willow to hold accountability, even for those choices. Well, you didn't have to move in before the divorce was final. Your husband was in a burn unit and almost lost his life. Like, even those decisions that are more her, less Drew, I thought was really interesting because no one is holding her feet to the fire with bad choice.
Really bad pun.
Yeah, in that way. But what I also loved that Obrecht validated and accepted was just telling Nina, like, you're a new mom. Like, you're late in, and so obviously you want to hold her close, then push her away. Like I said, I never liked that random tussle between her and Carly, and then Carly randomly saying all these awful things to her about being a mother. And it was only later that the words absorbed, and I'm like, I don't like how it was done, but I do understand when Carly was saying stuff like, you gotta be tough, like, you gotta, like, being a mom means you can't always try to be their friend, and you have to, like, call her out, just tell her the truth. But like we said back then, you know, Nina is new in all this and she didn't have her daughter for so long, and that's definitely going to play a role in how she handles things. And I kind of just liked having Obrecht validate that, and the fact that Obrecht is going to be there, understands everything Nina has gone through, and is like, don't worry, I got your back and I'll be the bad guy in this for you.
It was beautiful, and I think even Nina was just breathing easier. But when you talk about like Nina being a new mom, I absolutely see that with Willow because the situation is really different. But we've often talked about when she's a mother to Sasha, it's like breathing.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's so connected. It's so honest and raw that she can be her. Like, that's the Nina we want to see. That's the Nina that we love and know she's capable of being. But Willow makes it so damn hard.
Okay, you know what? It didn't only just happen with Willow, right? That was the whole thing with the her and
Yeah.
Sunny love story. I always said this love story doesn't stand a chance unless you can go through the hard parts together, the
Yes.
truth together.
Yes.
And that's what Sasha and Nina had from the start.
That's very
The
true.
moment things came to a head, they faced it. Sasha tried and they went through their thing and they came through on the other side. And that's probably one of the only kind of genuine relationships she's had, you know? And I've always like loved her. I loved Nina with Sasha. You know, it's funny how you see that with some characters. It's kind of like how Trina brought out the best in Ava.
Yeah.
And like Trina's like that best thing about Ava. And I definitely think Sasha is one of the best things about Nina for sure. And you know how I was saying, like, and they're really laying it on thick, you know, like Sasha has good instincts. Again, who are they making her out to be? You know, Carly's strong. Carly has good instincts,
Yeah.
and they're sort of creating that dynamic between her and Michael, you know, like her being his Carly, whereas Willow couldn't really be that loyal person. So, I mean,
She's the Brenda.
Michael, yeah, like Michael is no Sunny, right? His life isn't
Yes.
dangerous as Sunny's is exactly, but there we're using that milder comparison. So when I hold that in mind, and I saw Willow smile today, and because she's Nell's twin, you go, she's Nell. And
Yes.
remember last week I was like, I can't figure out why Carly went up to Willow and why they had that scene. Like, it was neither here nor there. Was it really needed? My only hypothesis at the time was, you know, was that only just to make Willow mad? To make her feel like me against the world type of a thing? Because there is a connection, you know, like we know that the Nell storyline circled around Carly, right?
Yes.
And we know that this whole thing is about Willow kind of going full Nell. There's like this comparison. So then when I saw her smile, I'm like, well, there we go. Now I see it. It's like Carly and Nell, except it's Sasha and Willow. So that kind of helps me a little bit. So while Obrecht is here, do you think she's gonna get to Willow before she steals the kids and takes them to Isaiah's cabin, as he gave her a location to stash children?
The same thing. Her face is hilarious. Ooh, I have my takeout food and I just found a place to hide my children. I'm like, what is happening here?
I know.
Obrecht has to, like, I need this story to go somewhere. Like, I need something positive to happen for us.
I need it to move forward because Nina has been sitting there being like, so
I'm going to do nothing and then more of nothing and hope and pray that something goes my way.
yes, but the goal is to create a wedge between Drew and Willow. So again, by next week, we're hoping that Obrecht has all of the info of everything that Nina has tried. But I believe in Obrecht.
Which is nothing.
She tried stuff, they just didn't work. But I just love Obrecht, her perspective, you know, just going, a man who's going to seduce his nephew's wife definitely has skeletons in the closet.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, speaking of Drew, freaking Kai, like, get over yourself.
I cannot.
I cannot with Kai. It's like, I love it. Congratulations on making your first complicated big boy decision. You held on to everything you learned about right and wrong. Great. But it's none of it is like complex. But now he wants to walk around, do this tour, and get everyone else to pat him on the back. Like, we've got other things going on. Portia's got enough going on. Curtis has enough going on. There's so much going on that you don't know about. And you're going around to all these people to be like, wow, Kai, you made a hard choice. The right choice that cost you big. Congrats. Stop.
He's another one of those people. Like, I mean, Nina used to be like that too. Just like, I said, I'm sorry. Like, can we just like move on?
No, he's definitely not a Nina. He's just young. Like we talked about, like for a while, Trina was that normie. And I mean, look, I don't think anything is over between Kai and Trina, but he's going to learn. You know, he's a normie now, but that won't last for very long.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we talked about how like Willow is smiling about Michael suffering with the loss of Daisy. For me, I didn't know how this would go over because we knew that like seeing Daisy was empowering for her and she really needs to feel in control. And so I'm like, well, what's she going to do now that like Daisy's gone? But I think probably just moving to like kidnapping her own kids. But I was worried for a sec. So for one, How long Sasha gone for?
Oh, there's such conflicting information on the internet. Some people are saying she's just taking like a vacation. Some people are saying she didn't re-sign her contract. Like, I don't have any hard proof right now.
Yeah, and I know you're not gonna look, and I didn't look. I just asked you, so I appreciate what you're bringing to the table. So we don't know, and I do think that she is gonna come back. I think the only thing giving me comfort is that there was zero montage.
Yes, you are right. Okay, yeah.
Zero montage, important goodbyes. But remember, the goodbyes were pointed, right? The goodbyes were centered around, let's say, Jason and Danny, and using them to say Jason needs a love life, being like, we're doing all of this to kind of point you at Britt. And a big goodbye around Nina, because I'm going to give Nina information that will push forward the Willow storyline. But we didn't get big goodbyes between her and Felicia, like Mac, like nobody else.
True.
Or, you know? So I'm like, that's sort of what I'm taking from this. So did you, when you saw Sasha and Jason finally arrive to their destination, so that was a nice surprise, right? That was not a spoiler. And it was so fun to see that there was actually someone we knew on the other side of the door. But the moment they arrived on the porch, were you like, I know this place, but I don't know this place?
Yes, 100%.
Sunny's old house, pre-renovation. So they use the outside balcony terrace as the front door.
I love that. Good on you.
So when I was watching today and they were sitting inside, I'm like, that's a house. Like, I know that house. And I'm like, I think that's Sunny's old living room. And I Googled it and I have a picture. So of course I'm going to do a comparison. But that's when I realized that they kind of like did something to the front so you can't kind of see like that was like the foyer. They put like a fake like wall thingy, and then I realized that they had used the back as the front, like the front door.
Good for them.
Yeah. So I was just happy to have like cracked that code. So I can't say I was fully paying attention, but those are great scenes. You know, you had this truce between Robert and Jason. Like they had their moment. It was beautiful watching Sasha with her dad.
Yes.
But she'll definitely be back to Port Charles.
You know, I just realized you didn't do your little logistics corner jingle.
Logistics corner. But you know what's even funnier?
I feel so much better.
You're welcome. But it's the fact that Robert's sitting in Sunny's old place talking to Jason. It's funny.
That's exactly it. As you reminded me of what it was, because I couldn't place any of it, because that's my brain.
Yeah.
The like making peace, the thanking him for not only protecting one daughter, but the second one as well.
Yeah. I thought it was lovely. I really did. She's basically hiding from Willow.
Yeah.
And Drew he always has a plan.
Always has
obviously.
a plan, this man.
And I think Willow forgot about her like hazy state at the courtroom when she looked at him and said, you said I would get my kid, and then she fainted. Yes. Because she somewhat hesitated when he promised her kids back, but didn't go, you know what? I'll trust you again. Let's go for round 2. So I hated what he asked Portia to do.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. But it's so funny because, and maybe everybody thought the same thing. I'm like, Portia, for the love of everything good, just give yourself up. It's got to be better being in prison than having a conversation with Drew.
If Alexis can get her license back, I think you'll be okay.
Right?
I mean, look, I'd like to think that there's a lawyer out there who can get her off, but this is what I'm thinking. She's telling Curtis what his latest demand is and the fact that she's reached her limit. I am just saying, you already have a lawyer in Rick. Okay, he knows the situation, but if you're at a place now where you're willing to turn yourself in, and like Curtis is like, did you think about the cost? You could lose everything that you've worked for. I'm like, literally, that was the price she paid the moment she used her own login, okay, to change the test results in someone whose case was active, meaning anybody could have ordered a retest. And anybody could have been like, hey, why was this? Like, who ran the test? There's a bunch of people that hate her. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that was the risk she took when she didn't try to hide it. Like with the whole drugging Drew and the ketamine, she covered her tracks.
Yeah, she was smarter about it. She learned her lesson.
Oh my gosh. So I'm just saying he knows he can't use that over her head because he has zero proof that she did it. The proof will literally land on Brad. So when it comes to that, I just think if you're going to turn yourself in, why don't you get proof of Drew trying to blackmail you?
Thank you.
to do this thing to Michael. So that way, when you go to turn yourself in, they might be happier to take down this congressman. Because, like, I mean, look, you got a congressman, you got this doctor, and the fact that he's blackmailing her. So I'm thinking that could help to maybe reduce her sentence, probably. So don't just go blankly confess when Drew has also committed crimes the moment he started blackmailing you.
Like, nobody believes in cameras anymore. Like, I don't understand.
But Curtis is going to save the day. He's like, look, I know I'm self-righteous and I hold you to an impossible standard and you're finally willing to do something honest, but I have an idea. What I'm going to do is, my idea is to betray a friend. And I'm going to, like, maybe rat out Nina sleeping with Drew. But, like, how is Curtis going to do that?
How's that going to work? He's just going to lie and say he didn't do it. It's fabricated. There's no actual evidence. Are there pictures somewhere Curtis is hiding? Like, what's happening?
And this is why, like, the Jordan thing shouldn't have happened, because she would have said, here's an idea,
Wait.
guys. What?
Do you think that Curtis, because Curtis, is that Drew's old office?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe once in GH cameras can actually save the day? Like, there's actual security footage of them doing it in Drew's office?
Maybe, but if anyone is going to discover that, it's absolutely not going to be Curtis. It's going to be Obrecht paying him a visit using logic, being like, isn't this his old office? Let's take a look around. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be, I don't think it would be Curtis, really. But
Fair
I don't
point.
really, look, honestly, I would much prefer Portia, like, confess than Curtis attempt anything.
Me too, honestly. I want this just over with.
Okay, so do you want to know, like, I don't hate the Joss Vaughn WSB storyline. I think it's interesting. You know, yes, it's been in the background. We all know that it's going to be explosive for people to find out that Joss is WSB. But one of the aspects of this storyline I never anticipated, and I could do without, is how they're trying to use this storyline to try to get us to believe and recall that Anna is a good spy. So not only is Brennan telling us to our faces, Anna is a good spy. She's like, I'm a good spy, all while having Felicia have to tear her back down to reality and be like, nobody owes you anything, though. There's missions going on everywhere, Anna. Over there, behind you, all over, because it's the WSB. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, Anna, if you were really actually a WSB agent, what would you do with people trying to interfere with a mission?
Right?
Like, I just can't with this. So she
will start crying.
Absolutely. So now I'm like, okay, they're pulling Dante into this. Fair, right? He has his own WSB connections that resulted in his absence and his rescue and return. So I just thought that maybe he would think it would be like more explosive. He's very contained because this is a big deal. We're like, they're going to find out Joss is WSB. She pulls Carly in, and apparently Carly had no idea Joss was chasing down Cyrus.
I know.
So the information will circle back, just like, what was the information you said that was missing earlier?
The fact that Lulu told Gio about, she was very explosive about the whole fact of Rocco finding out it was Brooklyn's fault. And she, like, said to Gio, look what she did to your brother.
Oh, yeah. So I don't think that's going to circle back. I think that is going to develop into the sleeping together. I think she's going to spend a lot of time bad-mouthing Brooklyn, and she knows that Dante is not going to want to hear of it. But she won't be able to help herself. So back to, wait, what were we talking about? You don't even know, so stop laughing.
No, because I'm laughing because we're like the same person.
It was Anna and Carly.
And yeah.
Yes, Anna and Carly. So in that conversation, Carly's learning that information, and Carly's also hand delivering Anna a timeline.
Yes, she is.
Like, Joss is switch being
Easter
flipped.
Island.
Yes, like surprise trip and all that. And she came back a new person, and Vaughn was in her life. And
she was more fighty, real strong and stuff. She took Nina off of me and had her in a headlock.
People grieve differently. Like, she's still grieving.
Oh my God.
But to be honest, like, how confusing is that conversation if you're Carly?
She's like, grandma to grandma, I just want to talk about a love triangle.
I love that Carly was like, we have the right to be intrusive, but could you imagine being pulled away from your work day? You're thinking, oh my gosh, is this about like my mobster ex-husband? No, I want to talk to you about this love triangle. I feel like, okay. And so now she pieces it together, and I'm just thinking that, like, I was on the edge of my seat having Dante be looking at those cameras and seeing Vaughn, and I'm freaking out, right? Because now they're panning in only on the mission and they're not going back to Dante's reaction, and I am dying because I'm like, okay, but like they're obviously in the same shot because Joss is right there and Vaughn is right there, and that is where the camera is, and Dante's only focused on Vaughn, and then he's like making this calm, cool, collected talk to Anna, and I'm like, are you telling me as a cop you can never get excited and be like, you never guess? Like, you're telling me you never relate information you got in a gossipy way. I think that this is the moment it was called for.
Well, remember, 2 weeks ago, Dante, he was high emotion about everything. Everything was explosive. But the fog has dissipated, and he's just like, he's real chill and he's real calm about stuff right now.
He's like, you'll never guess who's helping him. Like, and just calmly. And she's like, Jocelyn Jax. And I'm like, well, this is no fun.
I know, right?
So yeah, and so it was a double finding out. Okay, so 2 people found out at once. So someone in Jocelyn's life and Anna. It just wasn't Jason. So now she'll have a reason to call him. What is she gonna do? What is she gonna do? Because Britt was out of the picture, Carly was out of the picture, and then Sasha came into the picture, and she's like, can I please be in the picture? And then at some point Britt's gonna come back. Like, what's he gonna do? And could you imagine Obrecht noticing, wait a second, Anna Banana, are you legit jealous of my daughter and her new relationship?
I think it almost has to happen so that Obrecht can make fun of her.
But she has to make fun of her for that. Come on.
Yes.
And she has to throw in the fact that, like, didn't your daughter date him? What are you doing? Oh my gosh, Obrecht has to poke fun. Even though they have like a bit of a truce between the 2 of them, I really need to see that back and forth. But yeah, so I loved how they maximize airport set. They're like, okay, we're gonna do all airport storyline. We've done too much hospital and air quote. Let's take it to the airport. So yeah, so like Joss is at the airport, and then Jason's at the destination airport of Paris. But then from Paris to somewhere else. Well, now we know secretly where Sasha is. No, like, am I wrong? She's in France.
I don't know. It's a big international airport. Maybe he's just at that gate to go home.
I guess I could rewatch it and listen.
I have to say, I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, I don't think he has the same plane ticket as Britt. Otherwise he would have chased her. But I'm thinking you probably should chase her now.
He should chase her. Like, when he's flying back on the private jet, no.
No, he said he wasn't. He said he's taking the private for her safety and flying back to commercial because he's the common man.
Then he needs to hop on whatever plane that is, like, ASAP.
Couldn't you have just shouted Britt? Like, it's okay.
I know.
Nobody knows that you're shouting a dead woman's name, you know? Like, I know it might feel embarrassing and crazy, but you do come from Port Charles?
Like, sorry, not you.
Sorry, he's Canadian all of a sudden. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you a dead lady's name. I thought you came back from the dead, but you didn't. You know, it's
I live in Port Charles. It happens all the time.
Sorry.
Okay?
Whoa, it's the first time we were Canadian on our podcast.
Tell me about it.
You can't even do it properly. So yeah, I hope Britt comes back. Oh my gosh, we almost forgot. Freaking Lucas. I love Lucas.
Oh,
but I always forget that when it comes to like the mob stuff, and honestly, we haven't had a lot of it, right? Even with Sunny back from Nixon Falls. I was going to say Phoenix. I don't know why. But back from Nixon Falls, you know, it's been mob light. Obviously, Sidwell, they're rehashing all of it.
Yes.
And I always forgot about those people who like think they know but have no idea. And he's like, Lucas is going off on a man who kills people for a living.
I know.
Then he's like, Sonny. And then he's like, Sidwell. Who's worse than Sonny. And he's like, you have to fix it. I'm going to threaten you. And I'm like, Lucas? Oh my gosh. And do you know what's even worse? They used Natalia's funeral as just a backdrop for a lot of negotiations.
I know.
And no one was there. Like, no one was there. And, like, Blaze didn't even show up. So, like, at Natalia's supposed funeral, they're, like, Dalton's there and they have another boss.
Yes.
This is like screaming Pikeman all over again.
Oh my God, yes. And we'll finally get to see if Pikeman is a woman or a man, or like what was the actual deal with
technically Pikeman was Brennan and Valentine and the WSB.
I don't believe it.
Supposedly that storyline was closed. Meanwhile, you have the actor playing Morgan posting all kinds on social media about like, would you like it if I returned? It's like, yes.
Stop.
Like we
yes,
have,
of course.
like everyone has asked you to come back. before you even left.
Right?
You
Like,
know
come
the
on.
answer, just come back. And we had always suspected it would be fun if he was that, like, you know, if it's like a temporary stint where he was the secret bad guy, you know?
Yeah, or like he lost his memory and he can just come back. Just come back. We'll figure it out.
So what do you think this is all about? Because, like, we had suspected with Sonny that, okay, he'll move on, he'll be mayor. Like, that was, like, one thing. And to me, I just kind of felt that they're gearing up for a mob war.
Yes.
And I just felt like it was Sonny's last hurrah, like the last mob war he's going to guide Port Charles through. But what is up with, like, the media element of it all?
It's really a different approach than any of the other kind of mob wars we've seen. All of the articles, the one that Nina was interviewed, attacking his mental health. I'm struggling to see.
Because if we're talking media, because you're a mobster, you're infamous, right? Everybody in Port Charles knows your reputation. So if you're pulling the media into this is all about perception. And again, the fact that this Measure C thing is still even happening and the Pierce thing is just special. Like, if it were me and I was Sonny, I'd be like, have at it with Sidwell. Like, Tracy and everybody thinks it's the best idea to have Sidwell in charge. Then let's see what happens to the city. But no, there's just going to be this fight because we didn't know what was going on. We thought there would be this, like, quiet handoff, which would have been kind of weird, a weird way to end, like, Sonny's mob career on the show.
Exactly.
And we just thought Sidwell will do it, and then, you know, Sonny or somebody would try to get it back. But now it just looks like there's just going to be this, like, war. And what's different about this mob war is that there's a political element to it, and Tracy's being yanked into it. And so it's this, like, Tracy-Sonny thing. And we know, no one else knows, but Sonny wants out.
Yeah.
Right? And so now I'm just thinking to myself, I don't know what to think of this. You know, like, we knew that Gio would kind of, like, link, you know, Tracy and Sonny strongly. They keep talking about this long-standing war, if you will, or the bad blood between the Quartermains and Sonny.
Yes.
Even the Quartermains and Jason. Part of me wonders, like, this Tracy to Sonny thing, is this going to come full circle? Like, we thought, like, it would come full circle in the sense that Sonny will pull Port Charles and everybody out of a bad situation. Okay? So, like, be kind of the hero in terms of solving the, like, crime issue. But then he would transition seamlessly into this legit sort of thing. And we thought he would somehow, at some point, get positive media coverage that would maybe lead him into politics. But then I'm like, what if, like, this thing, this pull between Tracy and him, is this about, like, making peace? Because, like, I mean, there is a history there, and they do bring it up, and Jason is a big symbol of that. And a long time ago, Monica made peace with Carly. Like, when she was marrying Jason, there was peace there. So I feel like even with Carly and Tracy, there was some kind of a truce, you know? Like, these were really hostile relationships, but they have way too many people in common. Do you think that, like, they're going to try to round out this long-standing war and rivalry, like, really close it off and have peace, you know, between Sonny and the Quartermains? Do you think he'll end up in ELQ?
Whoa.
Like, I know they're fighting, but whatever Tracy's doing, it's not going to result in Sonny leaving. And honestly, Sonny leaving is not necessarily what is safest. Like, people may not like to admit it, but he does keep it safe. He does navigate things.
He does.
Tracy is being naive and she's being vengeful. You know, for her, it's like, I just want Sonny out for what he's done to my family. And I guess part of Tracy believes that if it's another mob family in charge and it's a mob family that they have no ties to, then their family will be protected. But I don't know. You have a connection with Sidwell. Like, you're literally involved in the same company.
Exactly.
So I guess I'm kind of wondering, because this is a different angle. Like, yes, there's a mob war, but there's also a war on the legitimate side too. And there's definitely a Tracy versus Sonny. And there is constant recall of a history. And I guess the way it feels for me is that we're not looking to exacerbate that history, because I feel like they've come a long way. Like, when she was mourning or remembering Luke at one point, she was somewhere with Sonny.
Yes.
You know, like, you have, like, that warm moment between Tracy and Michael. I'm like, what am I looking at right now?
Yeah.
So I feel that, like, if even Sonny can say Tracy's right, she wants to protect Gio, or she's not wrong, And I think he wants to be more on the side of Tracy, not necessarily the person, but just this legitimate end. He wants her to be wrong in the sense that one day Sonny can be safe for Gio.
Yes, absolutely.
So I guess I wonder, if not politics, will they continue with this, I'm not going to say rivalry, but this hostility, but in a tamer, the most tame way, just on a business and an ELQ, and not in this mob versus Quartermain kind of way.
Okay, I would love to see this. You made me think of a lot of things while you were saying that, in the sense that, like, everything is coming to a head and all eyes are on Sonny, which is giving Jen's room to mess up, be overconfident, and let his ego take over. So he will mess up, kind of like what he did with Miss Wu. Jason and Sonny knew right off the bat, but they have to get something more that everybody sees, that's truly, there is no other way it can be put on Sonny. It truly has to be all eyes on Jen's, and that's going to be kind of like that opportunity for Sonny to make a shift into something else. And then, you know, that whole evolvement of like the growth of him being a company head and him and Tracy still battling, but in a different way. But I think like all eyes are on Sonny right now, so that we see Jen's mess up, so they can actually see that Sonny isn't as dangerous as they think he is.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen because it feels so fast. Because, like, is this really going to be the solution, right? You hold Marco until Sidwell. Like, I don't necessarily think that's the end of it. But I guess, and I'm hoping it'll move it forward in an interesting way. But then it occurred to me that, like, I don't know. If not politics, could you imagine? Because, like, Tracy's not necessarily active in ELQ. It's you got Ned in there. But, like, and Michael doesn't work there. But could you imagine? It's like... It's like Sonny and Jason, because there is this truce between Jason and Tracy, and I think she would love to have Jason there, or maybe Jason ends up in ELQ and Sonny ends up in politics, but still maybe like has shares, because I found these old clips where Sonny was there, and at one point he did have shares of ELQ and showed up to like a vote or something.
That would be so interesting to watch.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see this. I know that they've been trying to get out, but I'm just so curious how they're going to transition the mob to someone else, and to watch that maybe legit transformation to Jason. And
like, I would like to see like Miss Wu more in charge. Like, I feel like maybe that's why they brought her into the story as well, to show how dangerous Jen's is, for her to be, how do you say, like, absolved, I don't know what the right word is, but for them to see like how truly loyal she is to Sonny, and then for her to be handed off the baton of like a woman in charge, which she always does a really good job at, and for her to keep that peace.
I can't see a general hospital without, I mean, I know we could have any, right? And even just the idea of Miss Wu being the one to run things. I just don't know if I can picture none of Sonny's children taking that on. Like, you know what I mean?
Right? We got to be patient.
So I do think a generational component is going to happen. I still have my money on Christina heading into the mob, but that is interesting that as that transition happens, you know, you might have a Selena Wu there.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay.
And you never know, because she was sneaky working in the background at Carly and Jason's wedding. So she could very well be working in the background here in terms of what helps beat Sidwell.
I love it. I want to see that. And then we just be patient for the rest.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We talked about all the things. We covered all of the stuff. I gave my lovely Obrecht line. Do you have any favorite lines?
I don't have any favorite lines, but I would say my cutie pie moment, because I was literally freaking out. I'm like, I don't know if I have one of these. It has to be Obrecht and Rocco. For sure.
1000%. And I'm going to give my star to the Sasha scene with Danny when you're holding Daisy.
Yeah. Oh, that's hard. That's hard.
Such a beautiful moment. That boy just loves those two and has such a bond. And when, like, I could just picture when they were telling the story of him being the only one that could soothe Daisy and that bond. And then it made me think, oh my God, he's like missing his like sister.
Yeah,
and
it's really
we never
bad,
get to
Scout.
see her anymore. And it's just like, I feel for that child.
Okay, well now this sucks. And now I'm thinking of so many cute moments. There's Obrecht and Rocco. There's Danny and the baby. I kind of like the Sasha and Jason moments, but also Sasha and Robert and the baby.
Yes.
It's hard.
So
okay, so I don't
sweet.
know then. So we're going to have to wait till Sunday to figure that out.
It's a toss-up, y'all. And I also love the part with Rocco and Sasha asking about, you know, when you talk to your baby, you know, does she recognize your voice? Like, that was even a really sweet moment. Like, he's a teenager. Yes, he's figuring out his life and where he came from, but it was such a sweet question.
It was. It absolutely was. Because you could see, because I feel like they were showing like how important that is to Rocco.
Yes, exactly. Those moments before he could remember, right?
That they're
Just that
significant,
bond.
those early moments, I think that's also what they're validating, like watching Sasha and her baby, those initial moments, and knowing that he had them with someone else who loved him so much. I think, yeah, I definitely think it was a cool scene for us to help understand how Rocco was seeing all of this.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm not going to make this a regular segment, but I have to give two people a thumbs down.
Oh my gosh, who? What's going on?
The scene with Drew and Carly at her front door, major thumbs down, major.
What's with the obsession though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's too scared to go to Michael, one.
Yes, obsessed.
But they're always like, Carla's involved in everything. Let's go talk to Carly.
She's like, I'm just trying to live my life, y'all. I have a business to run. I have children. Like, leave me alone.
But are these, because like I feel like Nina has figured that out. Yes, she has gone to Carly when it comes to Michael, but she has also tried to like talk directly or even to Jason. But it just kind of, at this point, I'm like, Michael is a grown man. You can call him. He's like, the fact that everyone believes that he's ruled by Carly. How many times has he outright went against Carly or his parents and made his own decisions? The fact that that is not clear, and people are like, they really love the idea that Carly is evil and in control of him rather than just looking at Michael. Because apparently Michael's evil, but not so evil that his mom doesn't control his every move, but he's cruel. And I'm just like, what is it?
Make up your mind.
Yeah.
And then a thumbs down. I wanted to love this character, and I'm still navigating what that is to me. But Dr. Gannon and trying to make peace and fix things. I'm poking his nose everywhere. I'm struggling to find
a storyline. It's okay. He's just looking. He's browsing. He's browsing.
I love that. I could just picture you with any random scene and him poking his face.
No, do you need me here? Do you need me there? And look, let's face it, the guy's got chemistry with like everyone.
Everybody.
And like he could be with anyone. So look, he is serving a bridge between Lucky, right? So he has a connection to Elizabeth. So there's a friendship there. Gordon is an ex. Portia is someone he's going to sleep with. Willow is someone that he's actually calling out. So that was interesting. So I think Isaiah will be the thing that helps put together where the kids are, right? Because he's going to be like, I told Willow about a cabin and her eyes bugged out. Like she was about to kidnap children. And like, when she was talking about Michael, he was like, whoa, I've never heard you talk like that before. So I think that's what his role is going to be when it comes to that.
Okay, fair enough. He's a friend type solver person. Got it. Done.
Well, he's a friend, he works at the hospital. He's like a colleague friend, if you will. A folleague.
That's a perfect place to end it. To all the folleagues out.
To all the follies. Don't forget to check out Cutie Pie Coloring. If not for you, trick your friends and family to buy it. Anybody with a kid, it's super fun. Try to always keep the page super kid friendly so my kids like it, because there's just cute pictures, fun stories, and music that they love to listen to that's attached to some of the pictures. So you can check us out at Cutie Pie Coloring, and the book is available on Amazon.
Amazing, folks. Have a fantastic weekend. That's a wrap. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.